What is up, beautiful people? It is Friday. It is only Friday because it is game day. You should be watching today. Shout out Gabby, best producer in the game, having it ready for us.
You did not tell me that I had to have this ready by Friday, so this is Friday at 12 a.m. Nonetheless, hope you enjoyed the show.
It is Charlotte for the week, everybody's favorite time. Lot to unpack this week. Obviously, we're at a busy point in the schedule. Kind of a weird point, right? We're stopping and taking another break from the MLS to venture into the world that is Leagues Cup. Of course, we'll talk a lot about that on this episode. Obviously, do have a game to recap from the MLS side as well. So nothing to it but to get to it, right? So we'll jump in right at the recap. Sadly, on Saturday night, Charlotte did take the L. Very hard-fought game, but it ultimately ended Chicago 2, Charlotte 1. It was I would say, undermanned Charlotte team overall, right? Didn't have all the starters, didn't have all the players. Also, want to hear a little bit from you guys about having to go play a match on a Saturday after having to coach an all-star match on a Wednesday. Didn't feel particularly fair. Just going to say it.
Really, how much coaching goes into an all-star game?
Surely not a lot, but enough to still take you away, in my opinion. I know they didn't have to do that. Their coach could sit up there and sit there and strategize, right? So, Triple G. So, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Maybe a sour grapes, but it was ultimately a 2-1 defeat for the boys in black and blue. Started out great. Buzzing start, right? They were coming out on fire. Was eventually capped off with the goal by yours only, Pep Biel. Assisted by Toklamani on that particular goal. Really nice. They were working it early, I thought, and were able to get that goal. But then really, really disappointing. Just 2 minutes later, conceded a goal to Lewandowski, of course, from Chicago. Little, kind of tap back to him on top of the box, tied it up in the 20th. Yeah, it wasn't the best.
Right after the goal.
Literally, I mean, it's 2 minutes later in the 20th
minute. That's vulnerable.
Yeah. And I think Dino even said so. So it was tough one to concede at that point. But after that, I thought the rest of the half went really well. I thought we were the favorites going into the half, the way that they were playing. Came out, the second half wasn't quite as good as the first, a little bit more discombobulated, I guess would be the word. I think the biggest difference was the midfield. The midfield in the first half was really, really good. Yeah. Second half, wasn't terrible, wasn't great, but it kind of matched the game. Was not good enough to win. Louis got a second goal there in the second half in the 68th minute, and that is how it ultimately finished with the 2-1 victory for
his first
Chicago.
And second.
I should mention, those were Robert Lewandowski's first and second goals in the MLS after being a legend in Europe for so many years. So sometimes credits where credit's due. I mean, that second goal they scored was really, really well worked. First one, like you said, maybe a little bit cheap, but overall, I didn't think the performance was terrible. I mean, the stats even suggest as much. Possession was 50-50. Shots were 18-18. They did have the slight expected goal favorite at 1.2 to 0.8. But overall, it was a good performance. Obviously not good enough. It's still 0 points. It still stings. But I guess I'll stop right there before you get another recap. What did we think of this particular game and this particular performance from Charlotte?
I was pleased with the road performance. Historically, we haven't played well. I did think we played well for most of the game. And really, I mean, the goal right after the one that we scored was the backbreaker. To me, it's a mental error. Yeah. It's correctable. So, overall, I was pleased with the lack of kind of winger depth. I was pleased with the performance overall. Obviously disappointed to get the loss because I think we could have got a point on the road there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we were in that game. I was happy to even be in the game to have a chance. I think, especially with the players that we had on the pitch. Not that nothing bad to say about the players on the pitch, but I think there was, as great as it was at the All-Star game here in Charlotte, I think there was distractions. I think that was a lot of extra on the team, at least Westwood, Ream, and Biel and Dino. And I just think their training probably was not what it had been because they were doing all-star stuff. So with all that being said and the lack of Maxi not being here, we were in that game until Louis scored. And then even after that, I think we had a few chances. It wasn't, if we would have maybe played second half like we played the first half, I definitely would have been upset if we hadn't walked away with the point or a tie. But it was Chicago. They're right there with us in the standings. They have Louis. That was his first home game. So,
generally a bugaboo
Yeah.
for us is Chicago as well. I
Yes.
think that's 3 straight losses to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, tough team for us to play overall. But yeah, I mean, and I'm not trying to be sour grapes, but at the same time, I can't understand. Like to me, like if you're going to have an All-Star game in general, like leading into the Leagues Cup, which is what it did. It was the U.S. played Mexico. It was the U.S. Now Leagues Cup playing against the Mexican side teams. Like how does it even make any sort of sense to have a game right there in the middle of that, like right after the
So
All
much so
Star?
you didn't even remember there was a game.
Exactly, I didn't remember. I bet some of the I mean, to me that
It just seemed
can't
like they had to like
happen.
throw
Yeah,
it
I mean,
like, oh, we need to get this.
you
game
have to
just
get that
throw it.
rescheduled somehow. Yeah,
To me, it shouldn't be midweek. I think it should be, they should take the week off, and just
it's
focus on
any
the
other
All-Star game on
sport.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Pick back up with MLS play the
yeah,
following week.
it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, and again, had we not been coaching it and been involved with all the festivities, like we needed to be, like it was important that Charlotte was there and doing that stuff, and specifically Dean Smith. But it's got to take away a little bit from the game planning, and then you couple that with going to a team we do historically struggle against, and not having the team that we typically would want to put on the pitch, at least in the starting 11. All of that added up to where it easily could have been 3-4, 5-0 type game, but we obviously hung in there. I really did like the way they played for the most part. Again, second half could have been maybe better, but overall, I was pretty pleased with the performance despite getting 0 points. And at the end of the day, I guess that's
I
really
did
all
see
that
where
matters.
MLS was announced either today or yesterday that the All-Star, there would not be an All-Star game until the calendar changed. So they wouldn't have one for the shortened season, which makes sense. So it'll be sometime in the middle of that 2027, 2028 season.
Yeah.
Hopefully they change it a little bit.
Yeah, it makes, again, little to no sense. Again, if we weren't hosting, again, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I was a little bit upset with the way that worked out for us. And then we had to go on the road. I didn't even, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But like I said, next time, clean that up, Mr. Garber, or whomever the new MLS commissioner will be. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, enough on that game. Again, just to kind of put a crown on that one, it was against Chicago 2, Charlotte 1, no points for the boys in black and blue. However, we had another game this week.
Which also would have played into it, the fact that you have a game 3 days later.
Yeah, right.
A
bit. But this one, we want to talk a little bit. Yeah, we came into this one, so it was the opening game of the Leagues Cup. Again, this is the MLS sides playing the Liga MX or the Mexican League teams, and it was Chicago. It was Charlotte versus Pumas, and this was a rout, boys and girls. This was Charlotte 3. This was Pumas 0. Zilch, not a Kalina sheet, except he wasn't in the game, so just a clean sheet in this case. Beautiful, beautiful match from the team. I mean, it was just dominant is really the only way you can describe it, in my opinion. Goals, we'll shout out the goal scorers, all kind of what you would typically call rotated players, right? Mm-hmm. So it was Brent Bronico with the first, the mayor, kind of a, I won't call it lucky tap in, but it was just kind of bounced off of him.
Right place, right time.
Right place, right time.
Which is Ken Bronco's game.
Exactly. He runs around, gets the goals. Second one was the most beautiful of the bunch. It was from your boy, Archie Goodwin, set up on a platter by Mr. David Schnagg. Great cross, and really good interchange between Schnagg and Westwood on that play to get it open. And then, beautiful play in. And then the third,
out of
nowhere. I got more texts from this one than anybody. Tiger Small sighting, everybody. We were all kind of.
Did you see him? Because he kind of was really fast.
He was kind of really fast. I don't know if it was the defender or what, but technically, I don't know. He doesn't get an assist because it was on a PK, but I mean, Tyler Miller, the goalkeeper, with the great outlet out. And then, Smalls takes it from about midfield, dribbles in, gets fouled in the box. Westy hands over the ball for him to take the penalty, and he buries it. To put a real crown on that game. And again, 3-0. It was a walk in the park. Expected goals in this one was 3.3 for Charlotte, only 0.9 for Pumas. So really, really good game. Again, I'll pass it back to you guys. Thoughts on this game and what we had?
I was so happy. I mean, I love a good rain game. So the weather, I mean, I don't like the delays.
I forgot to mention it started an hour and a half late.
I like weeknight games. I think it's just cool to have an extra. I guess I think I'm getting an extra game because it's like not on a Saturday. And this was a rain game, and they're so fun. But you know, we always say at the Leagues Cup or when we play in these like other terms, Open Cup, Leagues Cup, what are we gonna see from Charlotte? And last night it was so awesome to see the guys on the pitch be hungry. They looked like they wanted to win. I mean, it was just so fun to be there and so exciting. It was nice to see us kind of driving the ship, if you would, in the game
easy.
and not having to play like
White
allowing
knuckle.
them to come at us and us countering attacking and stuff like that. So I was really excited. I'm really excited now to see where this takes us in the rest of the League's Cup because I think we have really good momentum off of last night. And I think it was a rotated squad, but I think you put those guys in there. They showed they were hungry. They showed they wanted to play. And I think there might be a little bit more competition than we've seen in the past on this squad. And guys are showing, hey, you put me in and we came out with a W.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out Westy in this one. I mean, like I said, it was a rotated squad, but I really thought that he brought that tenacity. He was the captain out there.
And he didn't even get a yellow card for all his.
Yeah, he was
fiery.
He was very fiery. He was feisty, but yeah, I mean, just his intentionality to that game. Because yeah, like you said, we have said a lot of times. In these cup settings, right? We not only put a rotated squad out there, but it's a squad that doesn't seem ready or capable of winning the game. This one was clearly capable, and again, they really came with that fight that you wanted to see. Brian, what did you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I loved about it was a lot of legacy guys got a lot of playing time. Rodolfo Loco was really bright last night. I thought he gave all sorts of problems to their son or the right back that he was just working that guy. And then my other big point was, and I heard Dean say this in his presser that this was the first time that Henry Kessler and Tim Ream paired up together. And I thought the defense was great. I mean, obviously we got a clean sheet, but really, other than right at the end of the game when Pumas hit the bar.
Which it didn't look like it was going to hit the bar.
Yeah, it was such a weird shot. But, I mean, the defense played really well. I like the center back pairing of Ream and Kessler. I think we'll probably see more of that, even though I love our guy, Morrison Ajimon. But that's just two experienced guys. And you could tell a difference, I thought, in that match.
Well, and Kessler, man, I love seeing him take the ball. He's like, okay, you're going to give me space. I'm going to bring it right to you.
Really and truly, like,
so,
I mean,
that shot.
Oh, yeah, he about scored himself. I go, I thought, good point there, and I didn't necessarily think to bring that up. But, that was the first time we had seen that pairing, and they were great. I mean, like I said, Ream's doing his normal thing. He's always, we know he's not the fleetest of foot, but he's going to sit in the right spots and make the right passes, make great passes. But then Kessler, you saw him be able to get up the pitch when it made sense to, right? If you're giving me that space, I'm not just going to sit here and try to find a pass. No, I'm going to go take that space with the ball myself. I thought it worked really, really well. Again, it was as much of a walk in the park as there can be, I would say, for Charlotte.
Ended the night on top for the League's Cup.
Yeah, ended the night. I don't know if it'll finish that way. We're currently watching Miami shellac. What is this team called? St. Louis. So that's on the TV behind us. But at the same time, we did end the night in first place in League's Cup, which will be important. Goal differential will be important in this. So to get a huge scoreline like a 3-0 is very helpful. Not to bring it back too much, but I will say maybe this was partly because of Charlotte's dominance, but Pumas low-key sucked too.
They were terrible. It was like they didn't care about it.
That's kind of
last week. I was like, we don't seem to care about it, but they didn't seem to care about it.
Right. So again, I happy at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the performance that Charlotte had because I don't know that we could have asked for much more. But at the same time, I do think the opponent may have helped a little bit. One other point I did want to make before we, kind of end this segment.
Can I just add one more thing to the whole Kessler thing? I did think it was funny, as much as we loved watching Kessler go into it. There was that one moment in the game where Kessler took it up to the center and then passed it back to Ream, and Ream was just like, I think he almost even put his foot in the ball for a second. It was like, let me just keep this here for a second and get us back.
Literally.
It was just neat because I think they do have very different, they're vet players with different styles and mindsets. So it's kind of funny for Tim Ream to be like, okay,
young buck, dial it in.
I love that. That was a cool pairing, and I'll be exciting to see moving forward.
So the other point, I guess, a different side of the pitch up top. So, and I don't know that this is staying. I think it's out of necessity right now, but I have really liked watching Pep Biel on the right wing versus playing that attacking mid. Obviously, we know what he brings to the table, no matter where he's at on the pitch. I mean, we mentioned it 5 or 6 times last night. This guy's just really good at football, right? But I think his dynamic on that right side. You had mentioned Rodolfo Aloco, and I think it's because when he's playing a little bit further up on the wing like that, the player on the left is going to get isolated, right?
Yeah.
And you saw that. I mean, we were playing so many long balls to Aloco to use that speed. And I think that's a lot because of having Pep Biel on that other side where you have to kind of keep that focus. Do you think that's, again, I know it's more out of necessity right now, and then once we get Saint-Maximin back, and Abada has been playing fairly well over the last couple of games as well, so I don't know that we keep him there, but I kind of like him right there with the midfield that we had in behind it, whether it be a Luca De La Torre, whether it be Gianni and Westy, and Bronico even, who played last night, right? What do you think in terms of that?
I will say, I think that last night, I mean, I guess it wasn't really that much of a different formation than what we typically see. Although I think last night showed us, because I thought we were fun to watch and we were super competitive. So, I mean, competitive in the fact that we dominated. But I think last night showed us that maybe we tactically, maybe we can put some players like a Pep on the wing, like you said, and do a few things a little differently, because I would love to have seen that squad put up against some of the other teams in the MLS, because they possessed the ball well. And yeah, maybe Pumas wasn't at their best or they kind of sucked, but I think this game showed us maybe we have some personnel that we can play in different positions, and it will change how Charlotte plays overall as a team.
I still like Pep in the middle, I think, but it gives us another option. I did notice he he doesn't play too wide.
He's moving in
the middle, but he has that ability to kind of cut inside and then unleash that left foot. So I think it just gives us another look and
another layer.
I like it.
Yeah,
it gives other teams something to think about.
Yeah, exactly. I was just interested. Again, I do think ultimately Pep lands back in the midfield, in the attacking midfield role that we know him to be so dangerous in. Once we get the other players back and around him, but it is an interesting dynamic to have him a little bit more isolated on the right. Again, he's going to cut in. That's just his natural, ability. He wants to be there in the middle and controlling things. But I did find that interesting, and I think it also opens up the midfield a little bit more than if you have him in that particular position, right? I mean, we were able to see a lot from Gianni last night, a lot from Westwood last night.
A lot from Archie last night.
Well, yeah. Archie could have scored 2 or 3 at least last night. So he
okay, when was the last time Tuck scored?
Listen, I wasn't talking shit there. I was just saying, he could have scored 2 or 3. He definitely should have at least put one on the frame. You can agree with that.
Right in front of the goal, I think that had.
If you listen to the commentators talk about that, they said that was a very hard ball to get on frame.
I got my 2 eyes, and that was not very hard to get on frame.
He would catch a bunch of crap from people that will see it because they didn't understand how hard that was.
Well,
I'm just saying, Chokes, he's saving a spot on the bench.
It's a good thing, though, right?
It's a good problem to have.
At the end of the day,
it's a good problem to have.
We're gonna have competition between two of us.
Listen, Toke hasn't done enough to say hey, I'm grabbing this spot. And I mean, Archie scored the goal that he did last night, so great. But at the end of the day, he could have scored 2 or 3. Let's be honest. So it should have been. It could have been in there for a couple more potentially. But that's a good problem at the end of the day, and it's a 3-0 victory at the end of the day as well. That's what really matters. And I think we played really well. I'm just excited to what we have coming forward. I think we need to. About close this one up for the time being. But
it was 2 recaps.
Yes, 2 recaps and 1 bonus. You're welcome, fans. Give us a little tiny break, and we'll be right back. All right, and then we'll jump right into the news for the week. Second section, as always.
We've been waiting for. What is it?
We've been waiting for. It is that I got the first
waiting.
Yeah, so
we're still waiting.
I think we've had this on the episode now, probably for the last 5 to 6. I forgot to mention at the top, episode 25, by the way. My fault there. But we have mentioned it, and he is here now. ASM, a.k.a. Allan Saint-Maximin, a.k.a. Maxi, has landed in Charlotte. It is official. We saw him with our own 2 eyes at the game last night, mind you, right? So he is here. He is almost ready. He's not going to play this week, at least according to Dean, right? It'll probably maybe be the 3rd game against Pachuca that he gets his first minutes. We can only hope. But he is here, and your boy got the first jersey in on the planet. I don't even think Maxi's got this one yet, but he's here. I did go ahead and go black because I felt like I had to. It's almost signifying goodbye, Zaha. Hello,
We're
Maxi.
back in black.
Yeah,
Here we
back
go,
in black. So, listen, and that's no disrespect to Zaha. We love what you did here, but we are very excited to see what Allan Saint-Maximin can bring to the pitch. I mean, this guy can absolutely burn out there.
And the headband. We'll have to all wear headbands.
All Gucci headbands. Yeah, we are taking donations currently. If you just want to, I'll put my Venmo. Gabby put my Venmo in there and maybe send me a little money for a Gucci headband for his first
or
game.
maybe Maxie can just send us 3 headbands.
Hey, Maxie, I know you're watching. So yeah, go ahead and maybe send us a little bit of those. Yeah, a couple of those headbands. We'll wear them in your support. But very excited to see him finally arrive in Charlotte, and cannot wait to see him on the pitch. That's all I can say on that. But he is here. It is here.
Yay,
Brian! What other?
Yeah, a little less exciting news.
Rain on your
our
parade.
our
Yes.
guy Nimpacha Berchimas, he officially has a partially broken foot. That happened in the U20 World Cup qualifiers, which I did see that we've qualified into the U20 World Cup. But Berchimas will have surgery on his foot, and he has no timetable for his return. He had a foot injury last year, different foot this time, but that just puts him out. And it's a shame for him because I thought he was doing really well in Legacy, and with the open spots on the first team roster, I thought we might see him a little bit.
Absolutely,
but,
I was thinking the same.
Sounds like it's going to be a while.
Yeah, it sounds like I don't want to speculate, but good
Metatarsal,
chance he
man.
could be gone for the year potentially.
Yeah,
maybe not, but it feels that way. And so yeah, very sad news. Obviously, very talented player, needs to stay healthy, but that's easier said than done a lot of times. And so we'll just see. Best of luck, though. We are thoughts and prayers for you, Berchimas. Come back soon. What else we got?
Well, we have another Legacy player that got his debut against Pumas last night. Nathan Richmond, or on Tuesday rather. Nathan Richmond, he did sign a short-term contract with the first team, and he did make a debut against Pumas. Got a couple touches on the ball in the game, so it'll be exciting to see him.
Got back on his first touch. Remember that? Was that his first?
Welcome to the MLS, son.
Drew the yellow,
yeah.
I think. For that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But so congrats to you, Nate. That will be exciting to see you play. And the rest of the guys that are playing for Legacy, they were able to win over Huntsville City last Friday, 3-1. Mbonge had a brace, and Subotic got the first goal for the Crown. And then their next game is not here in Charlotte. They travel to Miami to play Inter Miami 2 on Friday night.
Let's go. All right, that'll be exciting to watch. And yeah, they just keep on rolling, man. I don't know where
they're in third place.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering. Dang, dude, first just doesn't lose there.
Yeah.
Because we keep winning.
And I think they're all really, really close in points.
Yeah.
Like a couple points away.
Well, hey,
I'll do some research.
Yeah. More on that here in a second as we get. Yeah, we'll just roll right into around the league. So I guess Brian, I'll pass it over to you. And we're just going to kind of keep it to the MLS for now. Obviously, Leagues Cup is very fresh and on the forefront, but not enough games to really talk about, I would say, in terms of that. So as far as scores that happened last week in the MLS, lead us off, Brian.
A couple of, I would say, surprising results in the Eastern Conference. DC United ties Nashville 2-2. Obviously, Nashville's running away with the East at this point, but they did tie DC United. And another draw between Inter Miami and Columbus Crew, also 2-2. Miami's in second place, so we gained a little bit of ground. Well, no, we didn't gain ground.
we lost less
ground because of that. And I mean, they're way out in front of everybody. So
yeah, Deuce is wild for those two teams. And, like you said, I don't know that it really matters. But that is back-to-back games for Nashville to drop points, so maybe losing a little bit of their form. Amy, back to you. And you want to go ahead and give us our points. Yeah.
The Legacy, they are in third place. They have 43 points, tied with the Portland Timbers, but they have us on goal differential, I guess. Austin 2 is in first place with 46 points. So.
Austin who?
2.
Who?
2.
Sorry. Anyway, and then back to
the MLS. Philadelphia had their third straight win after the break. They did beat our friends and our foes, not their friends, our foes to the South Atlanta. 3-2, Philly got the win there. And then Vancouver and LAFC had a draw, 1-1.
Watch a little of that game.
Watched a little bit of that game. It was Well,
Battle for
be a
first.
battle for first, and it looked like a battle for first as
Yeah.
it ended in a tie. So
Cool. Yeah, and then a couple more games to round it out here. So Red Bull New York got the victory over Orlando. Orlando with Griezmann coming back or coming into the game, I guess you'd say, but not enough in this one. So Red Bull gets the victory after losing to your boys last week. That one was 3-2, Red Bull New York. And Cincinnati 4, San Jose 2. That's actually San Jose's third straight loss coming out of the break. So two teams going in opposite directions there potentially. Philadelphia, obviously the horrid start that they had to the season, they're coming on, and now San Jose, great start to the season, maybe falling a little bit back to earth.
Lowly Atlanta.
Lowly, which we'll talk about here in a couple seconds, right? But yeah, that leads us right into the standings. As typical, I'll do the Western Conference for us. So as we mentioned, it was a battle for first. They both tied, so they remain tied for first. Yeah, so they are both, when I say they, I'm talking, of course, Vancouver and LAFC. They are on 34 points in first place. San Jose, as a result of losing for the third straight time, drops out of first place.
How crazy you lose 3 games in a row and you're only 1 point out of first.
Yeah, right? Well, they were off to such a great start. Yeah, so
crazy.
Yeah, great point, great job by them. I will say Vancouver has a game in hand there on San Jose as well, so it's maybe a little bit more than that, but still, shout out San Jose to the start. And then we mentioned it last week. Obviously, not much changes over the course of 1 week, but still, spots 5 through 10, very close, all within 3 points or 1 win of each other. We're talking Real Salt Lake, we're talking FC Dallas, we're talking St. Louis, we're talking Portland, Seattle, Minnesota. Basically, the other half of the conference seems to be within about a 3-point span once you go from 5 to 10. So that'll be a very interesting race to the end of the season to see who gets those final playoff spots. That's all I have on the West. Oh, shout out KC, you are in last as always. But other than that, that's all for the West. Move it over to the East, and Brian, I'll let you lead off.
Yeah, in the East, the team that we mostly care about is Charlotte FC. Unfortunately, drops from 6th to 7th, and we are sitting on, nicely done.
Yep.
We're sitting on 25th, followed by the next game we're going to mention is Nashville continues to lead the Eastern Conference. Yeah, they're at 40 points.
Miami, yeah.
They're at 40 points, so that means we're 15 points behind. I mean, that's 5 wins out of first place, so that seems like it's getting out of hand. Miami is in second with 38 points. Again, that's a pretty far stretch to get to second. So.
I will say you're not wrong, and especially given the quality of those two teams, right? It makes it even more challenging. But I was actually looking at the standings at this time last year when we were on such a lull, right? But really May into June last year, we were further out. Nashville was actually further ahead of us last year at this point.
Is that right?
And we caught them and passed them last year. So not to say that we will this year. I think they're a different team, but I did notice that. Obviously, that 9-game. Yeah, we had a 9-game winning streak. Yeah, so it's not over yet. Getting there, though.
We're the official halfway point of the season.
Yes.
So
we are
literally right on it. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to pick it up in the second half of the season.
Absolutely.
Well, we can do that, and if we pick it up and we start winning some games, we will be able to jump ahead of NYCFC and Cincinnati. They are just 1 point ahead of us in 5th and 6th place. And still, the wooden spoon still belongs to you, ATL. So, Hotlanta, you might be hot, but not in MLS. You're not, because you're dead last. So,
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, me too.
12 points there. Oh, man. Could you imagine?
So, think of how far they are out of first.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a chance there.
Brutal. But yeah, doing that, man, I was just thinking, like, well, I won't even get that's
like beyond.
next galaxy
that's too
break.
many.
28 points.
Yeah.
Good job. Not that hard of math. Yeah. What's 40 minus 12? Anyway, so that kind of wraps up those standings. We will move right back. Actually, we will take a quick break. Sponsored by Morrison. Yeah, we'll do a little. What were those things called? You teach school. The math things that you would.
Flashcards?
No, not flashcards. No, shit. It was back in the day where you would. It would do like 1 times 1, 2 times 2, and you would have to write them into the.
Like a grid.
Something like that, but it was.
That
well, hey, millennial over here. I'm going to find that, or maybe Gabby again, best producer in the business. You can maybe go find what I'm talking about. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Like multiplication chart.
multiplication table. Maybe that's
Maybe, so.
either way. We are taking a break. Thank you. Sponsored by Sir Minty, like we talked about. Right back with the best segment coming up. All right, and back from our very short break there, presented again by our one and only Sir Minty. I don't know if you guys saw that clip in the All-Star game where all the other players were trying to name them.
That was great.
That was a good one.
Yeah, but anyway, not about that. We're into everybody's favorite segment, the one that started it all. It is the match day preview. And once again, you get a bonus match day preview. We're going to go ahead and get both of the next games in. 2 games in the next week for Charlotte FC, both, of course, in Leagues Cup play. Game number 2 in this is against Atlas. That is on Friday night. So right before you watch, or right after you watch this, go ahead and tune into Apple TV. Sorry, no free ads. Tune into however you want to watch the game. And watch Charlotte play Atlas again. That is Friday night. Is that 8 p.m., guys?
7:30.
7:30. Great. A little earlier. So 7:30 p.m. at the bank, of course, against Atlas. And then turn right back around on Tuesday night again to play Pachuca. Tuesday night again, also at the bank. A lot of games here in Charlotte over the next couple of days, which we love. But yeah, we'll go ahead and start, I guess, with the Atlas game on Friday. Atlas currently ranked 32nd. I say currently. I don't really. That's the ranking that they were given for the tournament. I don't know who decides that. Yeah, exactly. I have no rhyme or reason as to why they're ranked 32nd, but they are. If you can do simple math like we just did, our times tables there in the thing, there are 18 times 2 teams or times 2 leagues. There are 36 teams. They're ranked 32nd toward the bottom, right?
Yeah.
I guess is how you would do that math. They did lose their opening day match to Columbus, obviously yesterday, Tuesday night, 3-1. And I keep wanting to say Atlanta, but it's Atlas. Atlas, their only goal was an own goal in this particular game. But it wasn't as dominant by Columbus as maybe the scoreline or their goal outcome would suggest. Stat-wise, very close. It was kind of a tale of 2 halves, right? So first half was dominated by Columbus. Second half was really dominated by Atlas. But you look at the stats, very, very close. I mean, Columbus 45% possession compared to Atlas 55%. Shots were 6-15 in favor of Atlas.
Oh, wow.
Shots on target, though, 5 for Columbus, 2 for Atlas, right?
So
so obviously a lot
they
more
love
clinical.
the launch ball over the goal.
There you go. Yeah. So obviously a lot more clinical in front of goal was Columbus, but expected goals fairly close there, 1.4 for Columbus to 1 for Atlas. Couple fun facts, if you will. I'm a fun fact guy. For Atlas coming into this, their head coach is a guy you may have heard of before, Hernan Crespo. He was hired all of 3 weeks ago. So brand new coach for them right before the season, right before the Mexican League kicked off was when he was hired. He's, of course, former international striker for Argentina. Played for clubs like Chelsea, AC Milan, I think also Lazio, right? So he played for a lot of big clubs back in the day. They do run a pretty standard 4-4-2 formation based on the vast research that I did by looking at the last game that they played. So yeah, very deep dive on this team. But yeah, that's pretty much what I know about them. And I guess we'll go ahead and do Pachuca real quick, and we can maybe just bring it all together at the end. So Pachuca on that same ranking, again, don't know who does this or where they come up with the numbers, but Pachuca is ranked 20th out of the 36 teams in the tournament. They also lost 3-1 against MLS sites in FC Cincinnati in their opening match. Pachuca did come out guns a-blazing. They scored first in the 8th minute, but then Cincinnati basically answered with 3 unanswered goals. Wasn't really dominated by Cincinnati, though. If you go look at the stats here again, it was a game that was very close when you look at kind of the momentum. Possession, Cincinnati did win 54% to 46%, but shots, 10 shots for Cincinnati, 22 for Pachuca in this game. Shots on target also doubled up for Pachuca, 4 for Cincinnati, 8 for Pachuca, and expected goals also doubled up. Pachuca 1.6 to Cincinnati's 0.8. So one of these, I guess both of the games that happened there were just a matter of the MLS side being a little bit more clinical in front of goal. The Mexican teams were clearly, showing up in these games, but not quite getting it done on the scoreline. I think that does help Charlotte moving forward, by the way, with those 2 opening game losses for them. Little fun facts about Pachuca, though, or at least their head coach. So they are coached by Benjamin. I think it's actually pronounced Benjamin Mora. He was just hired in June of this year. So both coaches combined
Right
have about an experience at their club of not even quite, maybe 2-3 months. So yeah, just hired. I did go do vast research for you guys, so you didn't have to. AK went to his Wikipedia page. Dang it, no free ads. Anyway, not much of a football background this guy has. So his dad was like a wrestling promoter. His mom, school teacher, shout that out.
Nice.
We love school teachers. This guy was on Big Brother Mexico, if you're familiar with the show Big Brother. No free ads. But yeah, I don't know how he did on that, but he was on Big Brother Mexico. He started his coaching career in 2011, so he has been coaching for a little while now, about 15 years, if my math is correct there. Formation-wise, they run, again, a 4-2-3-1 based on the vast research I did by looking at their last game. So that is what I have. That is the rundown that we have for Atlas and Pachuca. Pass it off to you guys. What are our thoughts on these games? Or really, I guess we'll start. What are our hopes on these games after watching what we did to Pumas in the opening game?
Well, after last night, my hopes are that we get out of we get to the next phase. I mean, it was exciting to see them last night. I think was Pumas the best team out of these 3 years? So, like, if you look at how they finished in last year's.
Yeah, I mean, based on my initial research, I would have said so. But then when I went back and read the rankings, again, if we want to use that as our unofficial, who's best, they would have been second. They would have been in between both. Pachuca would technically be first out of that. But either way.
Anyhow, I mean, I'm excited after seeing what we did last night and the intensity and the fire and excitement that game brought for the 15,000 of us that were there.
Yeah.
I think if we can get out and get to the next phase, I mean, you do get a berth in Champions League for this. Right, I mean, that'd be huge. I mean, huge. So I think if we kind of don't get out of this, I mean, with a 3-0 win, you're like doing great goal differential wise. Let's go for phase 2.
Absolutely, and if you're there, then you're really there. I mean, because there's only 8 teams that make it, right? So I mean, it's
I sat on the show last week and I was like, they don't care about it. I don't care about it. After last night, I care about it. I think we should go for it. Yeah. I mean, like you said, Amy, if we can get out of the group, only the top 8 teams go, then you got to win 3 and you can win a cup. So why not go for it? It's I guess winning cures everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. I think we got a chance to move on.
I would agree. Yeah, I mean, obviously, great start. 3-0 victory, all 3 points to us. Again, I mean, you look at the teams, at least ranking-wise, and this is a tournament. Very weird the way that it's formatted in that when you lose that opening game, it's not necessarily blouses, but it's pretty darn close, right? I feel like it probably is, right? Because only 4 out of 18 teams from either league are going to make it to the next round.
Lose 3-0. Right. I mean, you could maybe lose 2-1 and have a negative 1 goal differential, and maybe somehow with crazy things happening. But 3-0, you're now down.
Right, but I'm looking at it from them, and they were about 3-1 losses to them. But I just. Yeah, who knows what their intensity coming into this matchup is going to be as well. I mean, like I said, that's what we talked a little bit about in the opening segment with Pumas and how they came out, how we felt not very motivated, or at least it didn't feel that way watching them play. And so maybe we get more of that from the teams we have now. And yeah, I think you're right. I think your mentality is going to match Charlotte's mentality on the pitch, and that they're going to be hungrier after seeing and witnessing and feeling that first game the way that they did. So I'm kind of in the same boat. I was very much on the fence whether I cared or didn't care. I am all the way in on this League's Cups now. It's the best thing since sliced bread, in my opinion. The greatest competition that we could possibly win. All of those things. But
I want us to win something.
Yes,
go for it.
Exactly. So it's only been one match, so
we're excited.
We want to pump the brakes.
No, we don't.
We want to go for it, but at the same time, it's yes. I think that the further along it goes after that opening game success, it's just one of those. Now we're full bore. We're going to go hard. We're going to play really well. And the other teams have already lost. I don't know that they'll feel the same way or go for it in the same way. And so that can only bode well for
I
Charlotte.
feel like we have a better chance of getting out of Leagues Cup phase 2 than catching Nashville.
I would agree with you there. Yes, because that is only 2 games away at this point. So I think that is a very fair assessment at this particular point. So Atlas, be ready. Pachuca, be ready. We're clearly coming for you at this Leagues Cup. And we'll just roll right into it then. So I guess I would say keys, not so much to the game necessarily, but just what is it? We've probably already talked about it a little bit, but what are the keys to us being able to advance out of this group stage into the next round? And then give me your predictions, just scores, quick scores on both games.
So I do think for the Friday game against Atlas, we probably rotate again would be my guess. So the players that came off the bench are probably going to start, and the players that started are going to, go to the bench probably.
You don't think we see Nevada on Friday?
Yeah, I think we see Abada. I think we'll see Abada. I think that squad will be different. It won't be the same as it was against Pumas. So
hard to take a loco off though. With
yeah. I mean, he should be well rested, right? So I think we do win against Atlas. They seem to be the weaker side of the 2 remaining. I'm gonna go with another 2-0 draw or 2-0 win rather. I would really like the way our defense played. And then based on what happens on Friday with Pachuca, if they take another L, maybe they're not motivated. So I'm going to say 3-1 on in that game.
Guess what? We can make our predictions now, and then after we see what happens on Friday, we can come live to you from the game on Tuesday night with current, up to date.
I like that.
Previews, predictions right before game time.
I like that.
First live time.
We might be mentioning it to you right here. I don't want to make any promises I can't keep, but fans, you've been asking for it. I've seen all the comments, and so
I think
we can tentatively assume that we will be coming to you live this coming Tuesday for the Pachuca game, right?
At least if nothing else, predictions pregame.
I think that's fair. I think we'll still predict really quick. We'll see if we change those predictions come Tuesday, but we will special announcement. Gabby, cue the what are these things called? Alerts.
Breaking news.
Kind of breaking news, but live Tuesday on the channel CLT for the week. We'll do it. I don't know if that's an Easter egg. I told them what's happening. I think an Easter egg's more where I have to kind of subtly put it out there. Like we would have had to have a sign up there that said live or something. But
then it could have said live.
Could have said live. Yeah, you could pronounce that wrong.
Okay. Anyway, we digress, but that will be something exciting to see if it happens. You'll have to tune in and see. I think as long as we come out with the same tenacity, intensity, desire, drive, all the things. I think we'll have a better crowd on Friday, hopefully, because it's a Friday night. I think people will be looking for something to do. Maybe it won't be raining. Because I even thought for the attendance wasn't terrible, but I mean, it looked really full the first, at the upper tier of the lower bowl where everyone was trying to stay dry. But it still was a great atmosphere. I thought the crowd was loud for those of us that were there. So I think we're at the bank. We won the first game. We have the momentum. If we keep doing that, we have to be ready for their counterattack. They're going to have players that are speedy. They're going to be nasty. They're going to foul. They're going to get their cheap shots. We just have to stay in our heads, play our game, and I think we come out with a W on Friday for sure. I'm going to go with I like the 3-0. I like the 3-0. I'm going 3-0 on Friday. I won't predict our scores because we don't know who's going to play.
Yeah, very tough to do that.
So, but I will say if Archie's on the pitch, he scores. And then next Tuesday, right now, I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to stay with the 3-0.
Just straight across. 9-0 over 3 games. I love that.
9 points. Yes. 9 points, 9 goals.
Stick it into existence.
Let's go. I like it.
Cool. Like I said, not really too many keys. This is about us at the end of the day. It's not about the other teams. We're better, in my opinion. I think we proved that in the first game. So just go be yourselves out there. It's really...
Yes, I did. Sorry.
I saw that. Yeah, go ahead.
I do predict for next Tuesday's game, a maxi scorer assist.
Ooh.
Love that.
I would love to see Maxi in that.
Love that. Hey,
Sorry, I
who's
just,
got it first?
I just remembered, like,
Got
he
it
might be playing in that
first.
Pachuca game. I'm definitely going with a win
Oh, yeah.
and a maxi scorer
That would
assist.
be exciting.
That would be
Sorry,
very
I didn't mean to interrupt.
That
I
is
hear what you're
okay. That is okay. That is a very good thing to think of.
If it's on the line, I mean, I didn't think we'd see him, but if we have a chance to move through, we might very well see him come off the bench or something.
I think for sure. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. Why did we get him?
Yeah.
So
and let him get some play, like get some time in with those guys on the pitch before.
Absolutely. But anyway, so like I was saying, this is about us. It's not about the other team. We set our own standard in these type of games, in my opinion, and that's what we need to do. Led by Ashley Westwood, by the way, right? I think he does need to be on the pitch.
Stand up and show you my jersey.
Yeah, I agree. But no, like I think I just really love the way that he came out with that intensity. I think if he can, and he will. He's the captain for a reason, right? If he can bring that same on Friday, whomever's on the pitch around him, I think will follow in line, and we will get that victory. I think it's going to be even much louder than it was on Tuesday, much more amped up because I think a lot of people saw that scoreline and was like, okay, wow, what can we do? And so I think it's going to be a really good crowd on Friday. I think it's going to be a really good squad ready to go play and be motivated. And so I think honestly
Are you going
not
5?
1, not 2, not 3, not 4. For the crown, actually. I'll stop there. I'm going to go for the crown, nil victory. I think that's what we finished this game on.
We all have a lot of confidence now.
Actually, don't roll the tape back if this doesn't happen. But no, 4-0 victory for Charlotte on Friday night. Again, not going to predict both scores. Hard to know with who's actually going to be on the pitch. But I do think that's what happens. And then come Tuesday, again, a little harder to know that much into the future. We're going to come to you live anyway that day. So tune into that one. But before you do, I will say a nice, crisp Fino special 1-0 victory on that game. I think it's going to be tough next Tuesday at the bank, and that secures our spot into the quarterfinal of this league's cup. So very exciting stuff, right? We're looking forward to it. I'm really excited at this point. We were on the fence last week. We are fully engaged this week. So that's how this beautiful game works.
I do have
most of
a
the
funny
time.
for you. You said quarterfinal, right?
Yes.
So like in the presser with Dino the other day, I was listening to it, and they were like, "So Dino, what do you think about phase 2 going into this game? Like, you go from 36 teams to like 8 and he's like, "Oh, so like straight to a quarterfinal." And like the guy who asked the question, you would have thought he asked him to like explain the world's like hardest math problem or something. He was like,
like multiplication tables.
Yeah, we had a couple like
Dino's
I'm
like
noodly today. I
18
didn't sleep a lot.
quarterfinal. So it's just funny how like the reporter like asked that question, and then Dino's like, "Oh yeah, the quarterfinal." And the guy was like,
What is that? That's odd. That seems odd, but it seems like something this man should have known.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that was kind of
They got up there interviewing him. They should have me. Anyway, different story, different day. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I think that wraps everything up for this one. Cannot wait for Friday. Cannot wait to see what we can do, like we just talked about for the last few minutes. So if you haven't already, please go like and subscribe. Helps us out a ton. Would appreciate it. And again, tune in live next Tuesday. We'll go ahead and make that announcement and plan that that's going to be the case. Coming to you somewhere out at Charlotte tailgate. So really looking forward to that. That's all we have for it. Until next time, this has been Charlotte for the week.